There is no one here. So while y'all are waiting, I'm waiting for people to get here. I'm going to sign on. Invite friends. Just invite everyone. You know, invite the world. Whoever wants to show up can, you know. Anyways, hi. I don't know if anyone's actually going to show up to this or if anyone wants to show up to this, but yesterday I put out some questions on the internet to see about who has questions about life and all that shit. And thus I'm here answering some questions because I figure like it'd be cool to talk with other folks about this kind of stuff. And also, hi to friends who are here. I'm glad you're here. I don't know how to actually view who's in here, you know what I'm saying? So I guess like if you are here, you can just say hello. Anyways, we're gonna do some Q&A stuff. I went on Instagram yesterday and asked folks some questions. And let's see all. So yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm gonna grab some coffee real quick before we get started. So if you need to grab some coffee, like let's do that because we want to be in this together fully. You know what I'm saying? All right, give me just a second. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. Da, 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 da. Iced coffee. When did this creamer expire? We wonder, we search, we hope. August 10th, we're still good. Praise God. Oh, yeah. Now we're cooking. Oh, hi, everyone. Welcome back to my room. If you've never been here before, you're here now. Yeah, so things about me, I love answering questions. I love getting in. If you have any questions, you can put them in the comments on the right or wherever it is. And I'm also going to read the comments I got from Instagram and the questions I got from Instagram, and then I'll post this on YouTube because that's what I like doing. Anyways, hi, Holly. It's good to see you. Hey, Addie. Good to see you, too. Okay, this first question. Everyone has baggage, but in dating, how much is too much? Should you be at the same level of healing? Um, hmm. I think that is going to have to be up to an individual in many ways. I think that if someone has, I mean, we've all got our baggage, right? We all have our things that we have to work through. We all have the ways in which we need to explore healing. And if you find more often than not with a partner that you are always trying to manage their emotions, you're always trying to, fix them. And this goes beyond just like basic empathy. I'm talking like you are pouring out and pouring out and pouring out to the point where it's exhausting you. And I'm not talking about like somebody who like you've been with for five ever, for better, for worse till death was part. I'm talking about the kind of person who you just met recently and, maybe been together for a few months, but then like they just aren't really, I don't know, doing their own work. Like you have to like, you need to be with somebody who's going to do their own work, right? And if they're not going to do their own work, that's what I would say look for. Look for somebody who is willing to do the work of their own emotional healing, because that is really the true indicator if somebody's ready to be in a relationship. I think like it's not so much they need to be the same level of healing. Yes, like if they have behaviors that are like toxic, go do something else. Go be with somebody else. But I don't think you need to be at the same level of healing, but you do need to be at the same understanding of what it takes. You both need to be willing to do the work. And if that works for you, then great. And if you realize that, oh, maybe this person isn't ready because they need to do some individual work, assess as you go. So yeah, that's it. So let's do the next question. If you can't actually get rid of a toxic person, how can you stop letting their words affect you? That's real, because oftentimes the toxic people in our life are people that can be very close to us, right? It can be like a family friend, it could be a sibling, so maybe somebody in your religious community. That's real talk. So how do you get rid of the toxic? Like, you can't get rid of them. How do you stop letting their words affect you? Well, my question is like, what are your boundaries like? I have a friend of mine who, she's got an ex-partner who they're divorced and they have kids together. So like, they can't ever get rid of those things. You can't get rid of that person because they're attached to your kids. Aside from setting really, really strong boundaries of when you're communicating, what you're communicating and about, I think talking with that person, say like, hey, just letting them know, like, you can't fucking talk to me like that, whatever it is. And whoever it is, say it's like a parent who continuously says toxic things to you. Draw a boundary and say, hey, when you say this to me, it really fucking hurts. And it affects me this way. And you cannot do that to me anymore. And so what you can do is like, by setting like, if you do this again to me, these are going to be the consequences. Like, just like really black and white, very clear. Like, if you continue to talk in a way that is harmful to me, if you continue to say things to me that are unkind, that are unhelpful, then we're going to have to reevaluate our relationship. Or then I'm going to start talking to you less. Or I'm going to get our lawyer involved and talk about how you're a toxic person for our children, because I think a lot of times those uncommunicated expectations are resentment, right? And so if you can set the expectation of, this is how our relationship is going to run if you want to maintain this and maintain peace, and if you cannot handle that, there will be consequences. And just be able to be strong in that. And like, you should not have to take continuous bullshit from people. Boundaries. Because like, you deserve to feel safe and you deserve to feel good in your own body. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Thanks for that question. The next one. How would you respond to homophobia in your social media comments, educating them? I don't typically. I either like troll them or kind of like laugh it off a little bit, because honestly, it can be a little funny because people get so bent out of shape. Let me tell you the secret real quick. Get yourself a fancy coffee creamer, spend the extra money, put your coffee on ice, and you literally are making yourself a freaking latte. It's great. Anyways, how would you respond to homophobic social media comments? Facebook is one place where I feel like there can be a little bit of dialogue that happens, because I happen to be connected to people in a certain way. So that's kind of an interesting thing. Other thing I would think about is the YouTube, for example. I don't respond to homophobic. I mean, sometimes I do, because it's just like, sometimes I get caught up in it. I really don't need to be caught up in those comments, because homophobic comments typically are coming from people who don't have any connection to LGBTQ people, are literally just following suit. And more than anything, like, I kind of feel bad for them. But like, trying to engage people on social media in matters of this, like, you really have to have like a really solid mindset on that. And I don't want to educate Dick and Harry about why that you can't call people faggots, for example. I'm definitely someone who likes to protect my energy. So I typically block, mute. I think it's a ministry in and of itself. Block and mute ministry, baby. Just like, You don't have to put up with bullshit. So like, again, that's a boundary for me. Other people will engage with it, especially if it's someone coming from a position that they don't really understand what they're saying. But a lot of times people do know what they're saying and they don't really want to have a dialogue with you. So do not waste your energy on people who aren't worth your time, babe. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Should you come out to your unaffirming family in hopes that their minds will change? This is something I've talked about with a couple of my clients recently, is the question of like, why am I coming out? Why do you want to come out? That's the better question. If the answer is, I want to come out so my family can fully see me. Okay, sure. What else? Why? I want to come out because I want to, I want to find love. Okay, sure. Why do you want to come out? I really get down to this thing, like the reason that someone wants to come out should not be to change other people's minds. It should not be to, it should be for nobody but yourself, is really what I'm trying to get down to. Is you got to want to. Like, I find a lot of times when I'm talking with people who like are so like, why does anybody want to come out? It's because we want to be true to ourselves. We want to stop living in a lie. We want to be seen as we actually are. So when you're coming out, don't do it in hopes that you're going to change anybody's world except for your own. Don't come out because like you want to change your family and hope they're nice to you. Like, come out because you want to live a life that's worth living, that's true and authentic and big and beautiful and like abundant. You know what I'm saying? And that is so capable. That's so possible. There's so many folks who don't know. They just don't know how good it can be because they can't imagine in their mind what life could be outside of this box that they put themselves in. Hey Addie, is this something implies? I'll get to these questions in just a second. Thanks for adding those, friends. But yeah, that's a big part of what I'm working with people is trying to just get them to get beyond that. Yeah, I'll have to say, don't come out to your family because you want to change their minds, because like oftentimes like conservative families, like, it's work to come out to conservative families, and there's so many things to consider around that. But number one thing is that if you want to come out because you want it, because you want to take control of your life again. So thank you to the person with that question. Addie Danielle, yes, taking always, looking into new clients. I'll send you a little message after the live stream. Okay, let's see. No, I don't want to delete the comment. I just need to. Addie, shoot me a DM because I can't. I'll just remember to do that. Anyways, Holly, I have a basic question about being queer. How do you accept, celebrate, and embody your sexuality when you've been indoctrinated to believe your sexuality is wrong, bad, sinful? I left the church years ago, but the self-hatred and compulsive shutting down of my bisexuality is intense. Please advise. You're amazing. Holly, you're also amazing, and thank you for saying all this yeah, you're amazing. How do we embody it? Trying. I know that sounds weird, but like everything is a practice, right? Spirituality is a practice, embodiment is a practice, yoga is a practice, working out, it's a practice, like journaling, writing, music, like creating, it's all a practice, right? So I think the question about embodiment, what do we mean by embodiment? What I mean by embodiment is that the feeling of being present to yourself, being present to your feelings and emotions, being present to how your body is reacting to stress and trauma, and then also being present to your desire. I think, again, when we came through the church, like we were given, don't have sex in the missionary position, don't have sex in any other way, just don't have sex. That's, the mean girls way of putting it. That's how a lot of people put it. So when I think about ways of trying to embody sexuality, I think it's just starting to notice two things. A, when we have moments of desire come up, and two, notice if we have any shame come up from us at the same time. So early on in my adolescence, when I started noticing boys, it was like I would notice a boy, think he was attractive, immediately feel shameful about it. And so through my mindfulness practices now, I can look at a guy, or anyone I find attractive, be able to express those emotions, even if it's just to myself, like, yeah, that guy's sexy, or that girl's fine, whatever it is. I can just say it, and I can just let a feeling be a feeling without having to interrogate it or question it or say that it's wrong. And I think if we can just notice that a little bit more, and when we notice when we're talking shit to ourselves, when we notice how we're policing ourselves and like editing our behaviors so that we're more acceptable to people, that's when I think embodiment really comes into it. And kind of like noticing in our brain, how do we speak truth to bullshit? To our own bullshit, really, So it's, when it comes up, it's like, oh, my sexuality, my attraction towards genders like my own is sinful. And then you say, oh, well, why do I think that? Well, because I was told to. Well, who told me that? The church. Do I believe that the church has my best interest in heart? Not always. Okay, who's it specifically told me? My pastor. My pastor, does he affirm LGBTQ identities? No, he does not. And of course it's a he, because obviously. No, he does not. Okay, so if the source of my authority is no longer this person, and what I'm hearing in my brain are those tracks that say, I am sinful, is it true? No, it's not true. What is true? I am beloved. I am whole. I am present. I am one with the Spirit. It's one of those things where, again, it's a really like constant reframing, and I'm not perfect at it at all times. I'm way better than I used to be. I'm not always perfect, because there are days when I just get depressed. And I think also another part about embodiment is being present to that sadness. Being present to the fact that, like, I should be more proud. I should be able to come out of the closet during Pride. I should be able to be myself and do the brave thing and tell the truth. And some days we just can't, for one reason or another, whether it's our job, whether it's our surroundings, whether it's our family, whatever it is. We can't always do the thing. Like, it's like, it's hard. It can be really, really fucking hard. So when you do feel sad that you can't do the thing you want to do, even though you want to do it, like, I want to come out, I want to tell the truth, I want to ask that girl out, I want to ask that boy out, I want to wear that one shirt that makes me look a little bit more gay, but like I like it because it makes me look cute, all those things. Be sad. And so, but here's a story. When I go to Columbia Theological Seminary. Also, Holly, the throat, yeah. It's okay. Follow that feeling. That's part of being embodied. It's like, yeah, I feel something right here in my, I'm crying. But yeah, as y'all know, if you follow me for any time, my gender expression is weird. I'm gender fluid. And so like sometimes I'll want to, be a little bit more femme in my presentation. And so I was actually for a while thinking about going and preaching, wearing makeup, wearing a dress. And the morning came and I was like, I can't do this right now. I'm not ready. And there was a part of me that felt really, really bad about, why couldn't I be braver in that moment? Why couldn't I do the thing? And then also at the same time, it's like, you know what? I wasn't ready that day. And that's okay. Because eventually one day I'm probably going to be ready. It's like, I'm much more like comfortable with like going in public now, like looking a lot more femme and a lot more queer, but like it took time. And I think it like was holding space for myself to say, you know what, it's okay. You don't have to do it today. Have a little bit of grace for yourself in the moments where like, rather than judging those, like, it's like, oh, I should talk better to myself. But then it's just like, yeah, talk better to yourself, Kevin, you stupid idiot. You know what I'm saying? Just try to have grace for that part of yourself. I hope that I answered that question. That was like a real roundabout way of getting to it, wasn't it? I've got time for a couple more cues. Again, if you have any more, you can put them on the side. Let's see, go to Instagram, go and find a question. How do I know if I'm ready for seminary? How do you know if you're ready for seminary? it's mostly like, I don't think anyone's really ready for seminary. I think everyone's just like, do you want to go? Great. Go do it. Like, go to seminary, go apply. So first step, research, find a place that, Jimmy, you better. Thank you. If you find a place that you want to go, find a city that you want to do work in. And I also think one piece of really good advice that was given to me: go to a seminary that's in a community, like closer to a community that you actually want to participate in. Mainliners is a little bit different. So like Methodists and Presbyterians, like you have your presbyteries and like you work for, like how y'all do ordination is really different. But really the bottom line is like, if you want to go to seminary, go to seminary. Just do it. Like you're worth it. Watching the debates. Yeah, I watched the debates last night. It was not as exciting as I wanted it to be because there's just so many people. It's like, let's do a panel, but let's get like 15 people on here. You're not going to hear what you need to hear. They should have done 4 nights, 5 candidates each. IMO. But what do I know? I'm just a consumer watching the TV. Okay, going to come out publicly in a week. Best way to celebrate. Yay! Congratulations to you, friend. That's very exciting. Best way to celebrate. Look real queer in an Instagram post, first of all. Throw a rainbow something in there. And then, like, if you've got a community of people around you, go out, turn off your comments on whatever post you make, or like filter comments that are going to have mean things to say, because obviously you might have some haters, and those haters are people that you can block. So yeah, I think that's really cool. Congratulations. But best way to celebrate, just do something you love, go eat something, cook something, wear a rainbow something, don't wear a rainbow something. Yeah, take some mental pictures just so you can remember the day. Because I remember mine. It was lovely. And it's weird to think that it's only been like going on 4 years since I came out to myself, and now I'm going on, my life has changed so dramatically. Anyways, we're not going to get into that. How do you stand up for who I am without letting anger and toxicity burn me out? That is a great question. Because oftentimes, oh my God, anger for me is my first kind of, what's it called? My first reaction all the time is anger. And I just kind of like hop onto it, like, because like it's what I'm used to, what I know how to navigate. But you're right, that anger is jet fuel, and jet fuel burns hot and bright and fast, and it pushes you out the gate. And I think for a long thing, like Audre Lorde says in one of her things, is just like when you focus your anger on the right thing, it becomes transformative. But if you cannot transform, Jimmy says, I'd also recommend coming out to a few small people. Sure, yeah. Jimmy says, in regards to the last one, around coming out, make sure you have people around you to celebrate you and like who can support you through that before you go public, because otherwise like you're gonna be like, dead in the water, so to speak. That's good. That's a good word, Jimmy. So back to this one about not letting your anger out. I think you absolutely should let your anger out, because anger turned inwards becomes depression in many ways. When we can't express our anger in good ways, it comes out in sideways ways. And it did for me a lot in my coming out process in my early days. There was a lot of anger to sort through because of what the church had done to me, because of what my family had told me and sold me. There's a lot of anger that you need to get through. So how do you express it? How do you stand up for yourself without going out? I think, again, emotional boundaries are a good one. It's like, who am I going to, like, for example, who am I going to spend my energy on? Who am I going to spend my anger on? So, for example, the one person who I spend a lot of time, engaging with is my mom, for example. My mom is a wonderful person, but she's not exactly an ally. And so there are times when, like, she said certain things that I have to tell her, like, hey, like, what you said, not okay. Or if there's people on the internet who are being jerks to you, like, It goes back to that Theodore Roosevelt quote that our dear friend and prophet Brene Brown put in her many a work. She's like, it doesn't matter the voices in the stands do not matter. The only voice that matters is the person who is like right here in your corner fighting for you and with you. So people, if it's just an online jerk, again, thank you, next, block and mute. You don't have time for that. You don't need that. If it's someone who's important to you, you can engage with them and say things like, hey, when you say this, when you say, well, I love you, but I just don't agree with your lifestyle, this is how it makes me feel. So that they can say, oh, well, I didn't mean that. I said, well, it doesn't really matter that you didn't mean to be hurtful. You were. It hurt me, and I want you to know that. And then again, that's where boundaries come in. If that person continuously says the thing that is offensive and hurtful, draw a boundary, make a boundary and say, hey, like, I love you, and I can't continue to be in a relationship with someone who hurts me because that is called abuse, get angry about the right things, get angry about injustice, get angry about babies in cages, and then be able to just like, not just standing up for yourself, but standing up for the right thing. I think there's something really, really healing about being able to say like, I forgive you. There's that, I'm getting another thing. So there's that verse in the Bible where Jesus says to the man on the mat, it's just like, or this says like, you're trying to heal somebody on the Sabbath, and he's like, what's easier, to say that your sins are forgiven or pick up your mat and walk? And honestly, it's easier to say your sins are forgiven than trying to completely always heal every single person. You can't heal every single person. You can't educate every single person. So don't try and do it. Save your energy for your healing and for the people who are in your direct proximity and sphere of influence. Whether that is like someone in your workplace, somebody on your social timeline. Be willing to not engage with stupid. Be willing, like, if people like, because oftentimes people don't want to hear you. People want to hear themselves. When people have ears to hear, they will receive it. But all I have to say, how do you stand up for yourself without letting anger and toxicity burn you out? Give a fuck about the right thing. Don't give a fuck about other people who aren't there for you. You know what I'm saying? We've got like a minute more, so I'll answer one more question. Well, we'll answer more questions next Friday, because I do have a call at noon that I need to get on, which is present. Thanks so much for joining me. This was my first Instagram Live where we did a Q&A. It was so fun. If you're just now joining us, I guess I'll bump it up to noon because more people have a noon time, so maybe we'll do noon next Friday. But feel free to go back and watch whichever way the time is. Feel free to go back and watch the questions. I'm going to upload this to YouTube, and check me out all across social media at the Kevin Garcia. If anything I said interested you, feel free to comment more questions, and we can answer them next time. And if you had any questions about, I talked earlier about like working with clients through things like coming out processes and deeper spiritual healing, that interests you, shoot me a DM. I would love to talk more. I love you. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Make sure you drink some water, take your meds, call your person, and I'll talk to you later, guys. Bye. Ending.